Do we know
Okay.
the good and bad of Brock Purdy? To me, probably not. It's too early in his career, but there are some interesting trends. And I think one interesting split, at least for this season, is when he's winning, his quarterback rating is 120. When he's tied, his quarterback rating is 122. And when he's losing, his quarterback rating is 82. That's a stark split. And maybe it's a small sample size, but I think it's kind of interesting because we see with Brock on this team, in this system, when he's winning, he's really tough to stop because you're all geared up to stop the run game, and he's a hell of a play action quarterback. You know, he can fake the handoff to McCaffrey one way and boot the other way real quick and be a total weapon. As a drop back passer down multiple scores, I mean, that's a tough spot for any quarterback, but I think that's to me what the real deal quarterbacks can do. Not that many of those out there. So that's what I see the good and bad in Purdy. When he's trailing, I don't know that he's actually going to put the team on his back, Larry.
I think he's a play action. He's a guy that needs play action at his disposal.
No doubt.
To create that extra space,
so
that he can throw the ball into those bigger windows. So I mean,
he can roll left so well. It's something that not a lot of guys can do like that.
Well, what I like is even when he gets knocked off his footwork or whatever, he can rebound quickly and put it still on the receiver's hands. You know, we saw that a couple times yesterday where he kind of either tripped or got knocked around or kind of didn't have a solid base, kind of regains his footing and then just puts it, boom, McCaffrey on the sideline, and it's still right on his hands. He doesn't have to break strides. So I think his accuracy is pretty good.
Can I tell you his numbers with play action real quick?
Yeah.
This year? Okay. 76 completion percentage, 6 touchdowns, 1 pick, 139.6 quarterback rating.
Yeah.
He's like a guy with a little bit more. Yeah, you'd like a guy with a little bit more of an arm. You'd like people to take shots off play action, but saving that, man, you can do so much with Brock Purdy off play action. So much.
The other one that I think is a really indicative or revealing stat, Grant, is his pressure, his number against pressure, or his numbers against pressure. He was pressured 50% of his dropbacks yesterday against Jacksonville. He threw for 143 yards when pressured, 8 of 12, with 2 of those going for touchdowns. Against pressure in his career, 8 touchdowns, 1 pick. So if you pressure, he's such a smart guy as far as what his playbook, that he understands where to go when there's pressure. So you're almost giving him defined reads when you send extra guys and you pressure him. He understands he plays with poise against pressure, and he knows where to go with the football, which is so much
Christian
more.
McCaffrey is.
Yeah, or Kittle, or just wherever, wherever he's supposed to go.
Whoever it must be. Yeah.
Yeah. He's good under pressure.
He's a hell of a quarterback. I'd like to see him lead some comebacks. Because if he can do that, then I think at that point you can say, hey, man, I don't care about his physical limitations. There's nothing he can't do. That's the one thing. He did it against the Raiders last year. It was the Raiders. I mean, it was better than nothing. But I'd like to see him do it against a team that matters. And he's going to have to. He'll be in those situations sooner or later. And we'll see what he's got. He hasn't done it yet, but he's always like 0 for 2. 1 for 2.
Well, I mean, he did it this year against Cleveland, and then Moody missed the kick. But yeah, I mean, that's going to be. I mean, ultimately, I get the feeling that they're not going to get there without him doing that. So you know what I mean? Like you might get to the playoffs, but odds are in the playoffs you're going to have at least one game in there that you're going to have to come from behind against a good team, possibly on the road. And you're going to have to, lift your team up. And I think he did it in Cleveland, and the kicker missed the kick, but he's going to have to do that. He's going to have to do that, in the playoffs against a good team, most likely. And he's just going to have to make good decisions with the ball and take care of the football. To me, that's really his thing. If he takes care of the football, they're going to win a ton of games because he knows how to play. But if he doesn't take care of the football, or if he gets impatient, or he gets over aggressive, or he's late over the middle with not a whole lot on it, and if he makes bad decisions, I mean, that's what Shanahan said on that first one. He's like, that was one of his worst decisions he's made since he's been here. And, he's got to eradicate the bad decisions. He said
it took him a while to get over that, too. Like, it said, Kyle said he took him a while to, get over that, not be mad about it. If you think about it, Purdy had thrown 6 turnovers in 3 games. he was kind of on thin ice. He had just given a speech to the team apologizing for turning the ball over. Then he comes out and does that. If he had thrown a pick right there, I don't know what would have happened. I'm not saying he would have gotten benched, but man, Kyle would have been so mad after all they've been through the last few weeks. But it ended up being a touchdown, and he played with so much confidence after that. I just think it's kind of interesting how that goes.
Well, and then we all point to the 17 points the Niners scored in the last 3 losses, but they've also scored 30 or more 6 times, most in the NFL. I don't know if you noticed it too in the end of the game. Purdy did not look at all happy watching Sam Darnold at the end there. Did you see how many times? I mean, eventually Debo kind of walked up to him and loosened him up like as they're taking their pads off inside of a minute, but he didn't want to come out of that game. He did not want to come out of that game, and he did not look happy standing there on the sidelines watching Sam Darnold, even in mop-up duty.
All right. Well, before we get to one more thing about Christian McCaffrey.